guys, welcome to Akuna Moscato. I'm Matt. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button, really helps me out. Today I just want to talk about the importance of removing water shoots or suckers or any growth that's at the base of the trunks. The main reason why is because it's a huge source for a powdery infection. What happens if you look at the typical design of a spray unit and its output, it misses the trunks completely because you're aiming for the target area, which is up above the trunks, the canopy and fruit zone. So the removal of those shoots down the bottom is essential. The reason being, water shoots or suckers, when they start to come up, they're a lot softer and soft material which powdery loves to get in and onto. And if that's not sprayed and protected, it quickly moves up into the canopy. As the sucker grows up, the infection comes from below essentially and infects the rest of the canopy. And you can have the greatest spray program in the world if that infected sucker happens to get in there at the wrong time and it has a powdery infection and you're spraying a preventative, then there's a good chance that you're going to get an infection because the powder is actually present up in the canopy. Anyway, case in point is just here. I'll give you a look. I was just heading down and noticed this shoot, and if you look at the very end, some of the leaves are left up in the canopy there. There is actually a powdery infection on these leaves. Yeah, at the very tip. Yeah, so removing these suckers early and thoroughly is essential because you want to make sure that there's no risk of getting a powdery infection, especially if you've gone through and spent all that money on chemicals and spraying. Then the last thing you want is that powder to flare up because you missed some suckers. There's lots of options for removing suckers. The most common one is through labour. You have a team go through with gloves, or an individual go through with gloves, removing the growth on the trunks or the butts of the vines. There are chemical options. There's chemicals like here in Australia, Spotlight, which you can go through 2 applications of Spotlight for the season. That will burn off any suckers chemically. Also spray seed is used. I particularly don't like spray seed because it is a very, very dangerous chemical. The active ingredient in spray seed is paraquat and diquat, and it doesn't take a great deal of that particular chemical to kill an individual. So it's actually been removed from a lot of spray programs because it's one of the main chemicals used in the farming industry for people to commit suicide with, because it is unfortunately extremely effective. So yeah, there are chemical options. I personally prefer the labour alternative because the employees that are working here are very loyal individuals, and I like to keep them with as much work as possible. Desuckering, although it's back-breaking work and it is quite hard on the body, it still keeps them in work for quite a large chunk of the year. Certainly chemicals are a cheaper alternative, but also with that, things can go wrong. You're burning off green tissue down below. That's what you're attempting to do with the chemicals. Meanwhile, there is green tissue also above at the same stage of development or thereabouts, so there's a good risk that you could potentially damage the crop up above, as well as when you're trying to eliminate the stuff down below. So just food for thought, but remember, get rid of your suckers because they just do not get protected by the spray program. And as long as you've got, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Therefore, if you've got that spot for infection down below, then there's a good chance you could get a total infection. The same thing actually applies to water shoots when you go through. If you choose to top your vines, cut the tops off, then you'll get secondary growth or lateral growth coming from the sides of the cane. So if it can't grow up anymore, the vine will try to grow out by producing lateral growth. That is also soft, vulnerable tissue. It's not like the seasoned growth down below, which is a lot stronger and more resilient. It has a different pH, which powdery finds hard to live on. So it's always that soft tissue that a powdery infection will get into first. So just always keep that in mind when you top. It's also a good idea to go through and follow up with a spray a week or so later so that you protect that new growth coming out. before you go through and cut the tops off the new growth by hedging and retopping if necessary. Can control that through timing. If you wait a bit later in the season after the canes begin to lignitify, the growth of the vine slows right down, so lateral growth is less likely, and it's also less rapid. It slows right down if there is any lateral growth. Anyway, if you found this interesting or you'd like to know more, leave a comment down below. Please smash that subscribe button, it really helps me out, and I'll see you guys next time.